The hook, the Netflix paradox. Imagine this. Your Netflix queue has 300 unwatched shows. The entire world is talking about a brand new thriller that just dropped. But instead of clicking play on something new, you find yourself selecting The Office, Breaking Bad, or Harry Potter for the 10th time. When someone asks why you don't just watch something new, you might say it's comfort food for your brain, but you can't quite explain the science. Actually, it isn't laziness or a lack of curiosity. Psychology and neuroscience reveal that rewatching is a sophisticated form of emotional regulation and cognitive efficiency. Today, we're going to look at the social surrogacy hypothesis, the mere exposure effect, and how rewatching actually makes you more optimistic about the future. Familiarity breeds liking, the mere exposure effect. We've all heard the phrase, familiarity breeds contempt, but in the world of psychology, the opposite is often true. This is known as the mere exposure effect. Research by Robert Zionch in the 1960s proposed that mere repeated exposure to a stimulus is a sufficient condition for the enhancement of an individual's attitude toward it. In a series of famous experiments, Zionch showed subjects nonsense words like Turkish adjectives or Chinese characters with varying frequencies. He found that the more often a person saw a specific character or word, the more they rated its meaning as good or favorable. When you rewatch a show, your brain experiences this same effect. Because you know exactly what is going to happen, your brain isn't working overtime to track characters or predict plot points. Your prefrontal cortex can finally relax, allowing you to experience pure emotion without the heavy cognitive load of processing new information. It's not just that you like the show, it's that your brain likes the efficiency of knowing the outcome. Social surrogacy, your fictional friends. But rewatching isn't just about saving energy, it's about belonging. This brings us to the social surrogacy hypothesis. Humans have a fundamental need to belong, and when that need isn't met in the real world, perhaps after a fight with a partner or a lonely day, we experience a literal pain of rejection. Research has shown that parasocial relationships, the one-sided emotional bonds we form with media characters, can serve as surrogates for actual social interaction. In a study by Derek, Gabriel, and Huggenberg, they found that people who were feeling lonely reported turning to their favorite television programs specifically to feel less isolated. Even more fascinating, thinking about a favorite show actually buffers you against drops in self-esteem and negative mood that usually follow a social threat. When you watch Friends or The Lord of the Rings for the 20th time, your brain doesn't fully distinguish between these fictional characters and your real-life peers. You aren't just watching a show, you're spending time with people your brain genuinely misses. The architecture of memory, why we see more the second time. You might think rewatching is boring because there are no surprises, but neuroscience suggests we actually notice more during a rewatch. A study on event structure by Baldessano et al. Found that our brains automatically segment continuous experience into discrete events. These boundaries are identified by stable patterns of brain activity. In high-level regions of the brain, like the angular gyrus, these event patterns remain constant for over a minute before transitioning to a new situation model. When you watch a show for the first time, you're busy just trying to understand the basic event structure. But on a third or fourth watch, because the situation model is already stored in your long-term memory, you can begin to notice the subtle details, the foreshadowing, the micro-expressions, and the subtext. Film students and writers do this obsessively because they are studying the genius they missed while they were busy processing the plot. Nostalgia, a bridge to your future. Finally, we have to talk about nostalgia. Historically, nostalgia was viewed as a cerebral disease or a neurological disorder afflicting soldiers far home. We used to think it was a doomed state of mind that made people dread the future. However, modern research by Chang, Wildschut, and others has completely rehabilitated this emotion. They discovered that nostalgia actually increases optimism. By reflecting on fond, social memories from our past, we derive a sense of self-worth and social connectedness. This positivity doesn't just stay in the past, it stretches out in time to produce a brighter outlook on the future. Nostalgia also strengthens what psychologists call global self-continuity, the sense that your past, present, and future selves are all connected. When we re-engage with stories that mattered to us years ago, we engage in holistic thinking. We look at interactional causality, or how the events of our past have shaped who we are today and who we will become tomorrow. Rewatching is a way to maintain your narrative identity in a world that is constantly changing. Conclusion: reclaim your remote. So, the next time someone judges you for rewatching your favorite series, remember this: you aren't stuck, you're practicing emotional regulation. In a world of choice paralysis, where having 10,000 options actually increases your anxiety, defaulting to a favored show is a rational decision. You are choosing depth over breadth. You're prioritizing your psychological well-being by using a familiar anchor in an unpredictable world. Rewatching isn't just entertainment, it's therapy. It's a sign of self-awareness. It means you know what brings you peace, and in a world that never stops moving, there's real wisdom in that. So I have to ask, what is your comfort rewatch? That one show or movie you can quote in your sleep? Drop it in the comments below, because chances are someone else is using that exact same story to stay anchored today. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the secret features of your unique brain. Thanks for watching.